As Americans say, the economy is as strong as it's been in over a decade. Democrats are saying not everyone is feeling the benefits. They spoke about issues people are having during Thursday night's Democratic presidential debate. Listen in.
We have to eliminate a significant number of these god-awful tax cuts that were given to the very wealthy.
People are not getting paid enough. That is not the result of some mysterious cosmic force. It's the result of bad policy.
GDP and corporate profits are at record highs in America today. Also at record highs, depression, financial insecurity, student loan debt.
I'm proud to stand on a stage with Democrats who understand that a rising GDP, rising corporate profits is not being felt by millions of families across this country.
We need an economy that works for working families, not just the 1%.
All right, so Catherine Rampell is an opinion columnist at The Washington Post and a CNN political commentator. She joins me now. We've just heard, they are talking about the economy. It's very few things that they can say. One thing that they're talking about is it working for the average American? The latest CNN poll is showing that people are feeling positive on the ground.
Yes, so it's interesting. The overall assessment of the economy is quite strong, and that makes sense. Unemployment is very low. We are now more than a decade into this recovery, so the overall numbers are good. If you listen to what the Democrats said in the debate, of course, they said the gains of the economy, the gains of that growth have not been equally distributed. And in that sense, it could actually be a winning message because of this. If you look at other poll data, a majority of Americans say that current economic conditions have been good for the wealthy, but they are not good for the middle class, then they are not good for the poor. And even amongst lower income Republicans, which in the case of this poll from Pew Research Center is those earning $40,000 a year or less, they say current economic conditions are hurting my family. So there is a sense in which this portrayal of the economy could be a winning message for Democrats.
Yeah, and it was interesting because we also heard the message coming through that tax cuts have only benefited the elite as opposed to average Americans as well. And we were talking a little earlier with Harry about what the messaging of the Democrats should be. How do they play this when they know they're dealing with a record high on the markets and they're dealing with good economic data as well?
I think what they point to is those kitchen table issues. Are their wages going up? Have the tax cuts delivered for them? And if you look at the numbers, the answer is not really. Year-over-year wage growth is about as strong as it was in inflation-adjusted terms today as it was before Trump took office. If you look at concerns about health care, those continue to be top of mind for Americans of both political parties and independents, and Democrats have been shown to sort of be the winner when it comes to polling on that particular issue. So there are ways that they can pick off some particular disappointing trends and some things that are major worries for Americans.
I guess that's the issue. Is it going to be the winning formula? Let's take a listen to this. Elizabeth Warren and Peter Buttigieg clashed over campaign fundraising and the private wealth of some of the Democratic candidates.
The mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Mayor, your response. You know, according to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. Your presidential campaign right now, as we speak, is funded in part by money you transferred, having raised it at those exact same big-ticket fundraisers you now denounce.
What did you think of that?
Well, depending on who you talk with about that exchange, if you ask people who do you think won, it kind of depends on who they supported before the exchange, so I'm not really sure that it changed a lot of minds, but I actually thought that Buttigieg's response was relatively compelling, that you, Elizabeth Warren, is basically what he was saying. You are imposing a purity test on candidates that you yourself only very recently started abiding by. And in that sense, I think it's it's a compelling
I just also
case.
have to ask you about the trade negotiations and President Trump's tweet saying he had a good conversation with President Xi.
Well, we still don't really know a lot about what's in this deal, right? The things that this White House have said about the deal, including specific commitments for line-by-line agricultural product purchases, the Chinese side has not fully corroborated. So we will still have to wait, unfortunately, a little bit longer to see what this deal really looks like. And I think that while there is a sigh of relief that a lot of people are giving right now, there's also a little bit of concern that we still are not really moving forward on tearing down a lot of the other tariffs that this administration has put in place.
If we look at the trend, we've breathed a lot of sigh of reliefs, and then we get disappointed again. So let's,
right. I mean, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step, or I guess it's 2 steps backward, 1 step forward. I don't
Half a
know,
step forward,
because we still have a lot of tariffs that this administration has put in place, even if he's rolled back some of them. So the net result is that costs will, in fact, be higher for Americans.
It'll be interesting to see. Thank you very much, Catherine Rampell, joining me.